Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. How many times have I said on this channel that you just can't get a better fight, a better matchup, so many consistent wars than between two guys fighting for the British title. And we got another one for the ages, a brilliant, grueling fight. Reece Bellotti moved to 18 wins with 14 KOs. He's got 5 defeats, 2 by stoppage, no draws. He beat the previously undefeated champ, LIAM DILLON, who went in with 13 wins, only 3 KOs and a draw, no defeats. He beat him on a unanimous decision. Dillon, I had this fight 116, 112 to Bellotti. And also I picked up a few quid because I bet on Bellotti to win. But the undefeated champ going in, LIAM DILLON, he's got absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. 28-year-old from Chingford in London. He never took a backward step, ever. This fight is summed up by a little cameo in one of the middle rounds where Bellotti swung an uppercut. Then, it was a combination he'd be worked on, obviously. Uppercut, followed by the left hook. Both landed bang on Dillon's jaw. He never mind being knocked back. He didn't take a step back at all. He stepped forward and grinned. It didn't affect him at all. And this is the toughness of this kid. And if you absolutely have to lose your title, this is the way to do it. To go out on your shield. This kid is teak tough. And if he had a bigger punch, he might well have been able to do some damage with Bellotti, because he was landing punches. And the pressure from the word go was, real palpable. And you could see Bellotti was having to, use all his experience, all that nous, all those defensive moves to control him. If memory serves, I gave after 4 rounds, I had it 2 each. I think I gave Bellotti the first and the third, and then Dillon the second and the fourth, or something, or maybe the other way round. But then in the 5th, 6th round, Bellotti somehow seemed to sort of find his range a little bit. And he just to me, this fight looked like it was the difference between experience and maybe lacking a bit of experience. Now, Dillon, he wasn't inexperienced. He won his British title back in July of last year against Ashfaq. What's the guy's name? Case Ashfaq or something like that. Anyway, he won it on a split decision, and this was his first defence. And prior to that, he'd actually got a split decision win over a guy called Joshua Wahab as well. That was at the York Hall in 2022. So even though most of his fights were, I don't know, actually, thinking about it, most of his early fights were against the standard journeyman. He also had another couple of fights against undefeated guys. Dennis Wahome was 7-0 when he fought him. He won a majority decision, Dillon did. And he beat someone else. I can't remember who. Someone else had a pretty good record. Youssef Hamani, was it? Or was that a draw? I can't remember. I know he fought Youssef Hamani, who was undefeated at the time, and that might have been where his draw comes from. I can't remember offhand. Anyway, my point is that Dillon was not completely lacking in experience. And he's clearly, a good fighter. He was undefeated. He fought pretty decent men. But when you look at, if he wants inspiration about coming back after this defeat, he's only got to look at the guy who's just beaten him. Because Reece Bellotti, lest we forget, in 2019 to 2021, he went on a 3-fight losing streak. He lost a split decision to Francesco Grandelli. And that was one of those WBC trinkets. He then lost to Jordan Gill over 10 rounds, which was a unanimous decision. And he made it competitive, but Gill clearly won. And then he got done in 3 rounds in 2021 by Ray Ford. So his career was kind of almost finished. But he then came back. He won the Southern Area title against Dean Dodge. That was a 7th round stoppage. He won a 10-round decision over the previously mentioned Youssef Hamani. And that was an upset, considered an upset. Humani at the time, I think it was 15 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. And then he came back. The following fight was at the back end of last year, and he picked up his second Commonwealth title. Reece Bellotti did against Aqib Fiaz. Stopped him in 8 rounds. I think he retired after 8. Fiaz did. So this victory over Dillon finally gets him the British title that has eluded him. He's 33 years old now, Bellotti. But the way he's turned his career around, with 4 consecutive defeats, 4 consecutive victories against good men, good quality opposition, after losing 3 in a row, and he's got a total of 5 defeats on his record. I mean, I remember sitting ringside and watching this guy get stopped by Ryan Doyle back in 2018. And that's when he lost his first Commonwealth belt. That was down at Feather. These, by the way, these two belts, the Commonwealth and the British title that he beat Dillon for, are at super featherweight. So Bellotti he's been an area champ, he's been a 2-weight Commonwealth champ, and he's now a British champ. I mean, if ever there's an example of someone who just refuses to lay down, that's it. And if Dillon wants some inspiration for his comeback, look at what Bellotti did. Dillon's only 28. He can come again. But Bellotti definitely won this fight, and he won it, like I say, on experience. He had the better technique. He was picking his punches better, more accurately. Dillon just did not take a backward step. Constant pressure. Bellotti looked comfortable on the ropes when he was on there. He was able to slip and slide a little bit and ping some counters in, whereas Dillon he sort of swarms you, and it's all sort of one gigantic sort of, avalanche of punches without a great deal of rhyme or reason. Bellotti picks his punches so much better. He's actually got a very good ring IQ, Reece Bellotti. He knows what to fire when. And, the last round I gave to Dillon, which kind of sums up his effort, because he just kind of outworked Bellotti, just through sheer willpower. And like I say, I made it 116, 112, which I think is what Howard Foster had it. The other two had it a bit wide. I think 117, 111 and 117, 112, maybe. So there's a drawn round in there somewhere. But well done to Reece Bellotti. I mean, he's finally a British champ. Terrific effort, fantastic effort from both these guys. Great British title fight. Can Bellotti go on to European honours now, or can he win that Lonsdale belt outright? I don't know. Can Liam Dillon come back? I don't see why not. I think he can pick up the British title again, or the Commonwealth. Good fighter, real game as hell. Both these guys are. These are 2 terrific domestic level fighters, and why not a rematch between them for the British title again? I wouldn't object to that. I don't think anyone that watched this fight would object to that. But Bellotti was the more skillful, probably better footwork. His punch variety was better. He worked the body as well with Dillon. Certainly in the middle rounds, he was banging to the body. And the only time Dillon ever looked like he was a bit reluctant to move in was when he was hurt to the body. But he wasn't, again, it wasn't a case of him being really badly stung. He just gritted his teeth and got on with it. And don't that just sum him up? Tough guy. But what did you think of this fight? I think Bellotti's story is a fantastic one. The way he's come back from those defeats, I love seeing that. Learn from your defeats, turn those negatives into positives. That's what life's all about. But let me know what you think, what you thought of the fight. How far do you think Bellotti can go? Do you think Dillon can come back? If you're new to the channel, of course, hit the like button. Hit the like button as well. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Thanks as always for your time, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.